Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a video over why the Hero's Journey server will absolutely ruin every other server for EverQuest for you. I used to play all the TLPs. I used to run into myself going back for that nostalgia kick on EverQuest Live, the live servers that weren't the TLPs, just to kind of get that kick again, starting over a new character, trying to play catch up. If you guys have ever gone back to the normal EverQuest now, you realize that you're like 30 expansions in or something crazy, like 20 expansions in. Trying to start over now is literally like putting a jigsaw together in the dark without all the pieces. There is a million different things within these 28 expansions that there's absolutely zero guide to as you start, and you really don't know what you're doing. And the worst thing is that the player base is either all completely maxed out levels, or they're going to be playing an alt character that is going to be completely decked out, and they're going to be power leveling it. Or you run into the other issue is that you will see someone your level, but it's one character or one guy playing 6 characters that doesn't need you at all, or they've got 3 characters and 3 mercs, and you'll never be able to actually create those lasting friendships, the bonds, that kind of stuff that you used to be able to have. That really brought that nostalgia back into the game, that we all experienced growing up, or as one of the first MMOs out there. But one of the main things about this server that is going to absolutely draw you in, hook you, and make it to where this is the last server that you'll ever play is, I think that the number one thing has to be the staff. So the reason I say that is I have been on a lot of different Discords. I've been on a lot of different free servers, different kinds of emulated servers, and of course on the live game itself. On the live game, you're paying a premium monthly fee in order to have access to all the different AAs, the maximum, kinds of equipment you can use, weapons, gear, that kind of thing. And if you have an issue, a problem, or even a question, you can't get a hold of the staff for weeks sometimes before they'll answer you back. I know that the last time I played, it had to have been a couple years ago, but it was on a TLP. I believe it was called Mischief, I believe. And I think that's the name of it, actually, Mischief. And I had an issue with an item disappearing out of a shared bank, and I was not upset. I was just kind of curious, like, why is this happening? Do I just not need to use the shared bank? And it turns out that when I put in my petition, I got answered 11 days later on what was going on. Well, if you ever played EverQuest, you realize that in 11 days, typically you can just replace what you had. It wasn't the point. I kind of wanted to get it replaced anyways, or, at least report that, it was going on. And the way they, corresponded out to me was not a message or a tell or anything like that in game. It was an email that I couldn't respond to. It was just an email that pretty much stated that they have had issues with the shared bank. Sometimes whenever maybe it registered that I had it on my cursor or something whenever I logged out, and that's what happened to my item. It's like, okay, cool. And then on the other emulated servers I've played on, getting a hold of the GMs, they have it in the Discord itself. Never tag us, never send us messages. We're way more important than you are. We're better than you, all that kind of stuff. Here, it's almost like they want to answer your questions. It's literally like they want to answer your questions. They have like a weekly question and answer thing that Broken Stoic does. I think they do it on the Twitch stream, where they literally will just have it open for you to answer your questions. That's insanity. I've never seen any other server do that. The amount of time and effort they put into answering the population's questions and make sure that everyone is up to date on all of the newest things they're bringing out, any kind of changes they may have on your characters. And that's good or bad. If they're going to, put out a soft nerf on something and boost something else up, which is another thing that I'm going to talk about here in a second. But Um, they're always responding in the Discord. They're very, very active, and it's been a while since it's been out now, about half a year, or at least for me, since I've been here, and I haven't seen them, let off the gas at all as far as their response times and things like that. You're going to notice on a lot of these, they start off super strong, but it becomes work. So the fun of it starts to leave, I guess. You can kind of tell that the staff loses interest after a while, because they probably thought that it wasn't going to be as much work as it is. But when you've got tens of thousands of players, consecutively, you've got, 3 or 4 or 5,000 online at a time. That's a lot of work for a staff of, a handful of people. So, but that's the main thing that I think is going to obviously draw you in here, and you'll never leave. The second thing I would kind of touch base on a second ago is that I'm not going to say they don't hand out nerfs on classes. Obviously they do. This is a work in progress, putting 3 classes together into one character. So you are going to have gamers and people out there developing these 3 classes into a absolute powerhouse with AAs. You couldn't have tested all of the combinations, obviously, before you launch the server. So as the gaming community here gets together and finds that these 3 class trios can come together and make something just absolutely crazy powerful, to the point where you look around and and you're like, oh wait, everyone is this same class trio, because it's absolutely broken how strong it is. They will pass out some soft nerfs on stuff. However, what I've also seen is, instead of just nerfing the hell out of something, they'll say, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to lower the damage on this, but we're also going to make it to where this is actually better in the long run, by adding in the same damage like for AoE, but not for single targets. So you can't just burn through all the in-game targets with something, but you could still do, adequate AoE damage if you're wanting just to farm, or, something like that. So I don't have any specific examples, other than I know that they've done a couple of nerfs on the magician pets, doing just way too much damage with their procs. I've seen a couple of different nerfs on the bard for their Denon's destructive discord dirge thing, for just being able to be affected by twin cast. It's already extremely powerful, and it was able to be twin casted, so they took that away. But they've also added in, you're still going to be able to do incredibly large amounts of AoE damage with it, but you're not just going to be able to twin cast it and do that kind of damage to single target mobs, that kind of stuff. So they really pop out quite a few different balancing things as they need to, but they don't go heavy with the nerf bat. Or not that I've seen. Now, granted, I'm on the Discord quite a bit, looking over everything. I try to watch all the patch notes. It's very difficult to keep up with everything if you're not consistently on there, because these guys, I don't know if they're just drinking like 16 Red Bulls a day, or how they do it, but they are always doing updates on this thing. So trying to keep up with every single little thing that they do sometimes feels like you got to be constantly on the Discord. You can take that as a good or a bad thing. I feel like it's a good thing. Just go back in there and kind of keep up with what's going on, every couple of days at least, to see what they've done. But they are constantly doing updates. So let me do this. Let me just go into the Discord here, and I'll show you guys just a brief example of what I'm talking about here. So this, not only is the Discord awesome for answering any questions, if you guys have any questions, geez, you'll find just a tremendous amount of information here. But let's go up here to frequently asked questions. This is going to be some things you can ask here for any kind of questions you may have. There is a change log. And where did it go? I think there's I think this one is going, the announcements. So this is going to be announcements directly from the staff. So the last one we've got on here is from the 19th. Now this isn't updates. This is just announcements that they're doing here, like what's going to be going on. And then they kind of direct you over to the actual site in the Discord that you need to look at. So this is the actual change log. So the last change was June 19th, a hot fix for increased proc rate on most proc on kill AAs. This was going to be an AA thing, obviously, like at the SK and the Necromancer AA, that allows you to kill things and then have them proc in a pet, things like that. Obviously, Mortal Coil, just other stuff like that. And then this one was on the 16th, 13th, 12th. This one is huge. Look at that huge one on the 12th. Another huge one on the 30th here. 22nd, 18th. But look at all the things that are changing. 18th, 8th. So yeah, you've got a tremendous amount of work they're putting in to try and balance everything out, add new content, add new things on a, try to make it on, it seems like a weekly basis. They're adding something in, changing something, making the server better, and really putting in a lot of time and effort into this. So the third thing that I think is going to keep you guys on this server for forever is going to be right here in the Discord as well. And that is going to be theory crafting. Right here, you're going to have an archive of endless knowledge on players that have done every single bit of testing that they possibly can on the class trios, and they put it all in here. So you don't have to go look it up yourself. You can just go here, search, and find out what you're looking for. So as you can see, I was already searching for Minion Master, which is going to be the Magician, Necro, Beast Lord. My specific thing I was looking for was gear list for what to put on my pets. Well, look no further. I found it in about 20 seconds, finding it on here. So right here, you've got one about Paladin, Monk, Berserker. It looks like it's a brand new one. Once you go in here, it looks like this guy put the thing in and then is trying to reach right here. So as you go into the new and updated one, because it looks like they found out that there's already another, you've got so much stuff. So we're going to go back and take another look. These are the ones that I've commented on, so I just kind of keep an update on over here on anything that's new. All about DOTs, 24,000 messages. Biggest archery damage build, 39,000 messages. 2,800 messages on the archery Tiki Lounge, whatever that means. 28,000 messages on SK Bard Wiz. I mean, you've got so much knowledge sitting right here at your fingertips just by pressing search that, I mean, if you have any questions that you don't get answered on here, then, I mean, obviously at that point you can actually make your own post, and I honestly don't think you're going to go without finding an answer. So another thing that I've absolutely really loved about why this is going to be the last server you ever play is going to be the actual DZs themselves. So unlike other servers, the TLPs, you're going to be kind of familiar with a DZ in a sense, because let's say you go into something like Unrest, and Unrest has like 40 players in it. Well, once it hits 41, the live servers will go ahead and say, hey, we're going to open up a secondary zone for Unrest, so you don't have to sit here and not have any camps or whatever. That's great. I think that's a good idea. I mean, it works. It lets people not have to sit there and, sit nut to butt in Unrest, trying to get, just a little bit of EXP while everything's being camped to oblivion. Well, that's fine and well, but what they've done here is take it to the next step to where you actually get your own dedicated DZ at a whim. So you go to Unrest, and let's just say that the open world or zone of Unrest has 6 players in it at the time or something like that, and you're there for a specific item. You don't want to risk having to run into somebody else where you're both camping the same thing. So you literally can just talk to the Echo there, which is called an Echo. And I will go ahead and just show you guys real fast. I've showed it in my other videos, but just in case you haven't seen it, we'll just go, for example, we'll go over to Castle Mistmore. But with that specific Echo, you're going to be able to make your own specific zone. So right now you've got 6 players in the open world of Mistmore. They're going to be running around killing stuff, doing their own thing. Well, let's go ahead. You've got the option to go into a respawning, which means that everything in the zone will respawn for you once you kill it. And you've got a non-respawning. Now, this is an important difference between the two. A respawning will not have in, like, if you're going into Sibyllus, a respawning will not spawn Trachanon. So you'll get all of the basic mobs. It's a great place to go in and get EXP, farm AAs, whatever it may be. But the non-respawning, you only get to kill the mob once, and it will not respawn into that zone. But it will also have all of the big name mobs, such as, you know, Trachanon. Other areas you'll have bigger mobs, like in the plains. For example, Plane of Fire, if you want to go in there and just completely decimate the zone over and over and over again for AAs, you can do that under a respawning, but you will not get the God of Fire to zone in that unless you choose non-respawning. So with these two options, it gives you a world of opportunity to be able to go in and be extremely specific on what you're looking to do when you go into a zone. So most of the zones out there, if not all, I'm not sure that they've updated it, if it's all of them or not anymore. It seems like everyone I go to has it. Will have that, you know, designated echo right here, or at least all of the zones that you're probably going to want to go to. And it makes it extremely easy to isolate what zones or what items you're going to need for your epics as well. So the epics do kind of get phased out, obviously, when you're going into Planes of Power, but it's really cool for nostalgia to go back and get that epic, in my opinion, because that's just something that I've always wanted to do on my own. And back in the day, it was very difficult to get them. And of course, if you go into the other servers like the TLPs right now, getting your epic is also kind of a pain because people are constantly farming the pieces to sell them. So, and that actually brings me into my next point. So this is another reason why this is going to be the best server for you. And that is, one, all of the items, like 99.9% of the items are tradable on the bazaar. So you don't, and you won't have specific items that are so overcamped that you'll never have a chance to get them ever. Most of the things that are in the bazaar that you can even get from Plane of Time, other than a very, very select few things, you can grab a full suit of gear. And now, granted, you can't probably grab it all in Legendary, but you could grab a full suit of Plane of Time gear, basically, that isn't Legendary for under 5K. But you could still make a tremendous amount of platinum by farming the stuff that you can get in Legendary, or, you know, odds and ends items, such as you've got, like, for example, we've got this item here, Shield of the Immaculate. This thing goes for a lot of platinum just because it offers a clicky disease cure. Well, with so many different characters being made alt-wise, because everybody wants to have, you know, 7 different characters, because they want to try different trios out, they're all going to want this shield. Well, it's a pain to pain to camp this shield on every single trio. So yeah, you're going to get quite a bit for this thing if you can farm it and camp it. So there are a lot of ways to make additional, but there's also no real reason to have to sit and just go balls to the wall trying to get platinum. After your first initial probably 30 levels, you won't have to worry about platinum anymore. Now, again, if you're going to sit here and go out and make a Magician, Beast Lord, Necro, and you're going to want to get, you know, best in slot every item without having to go and actually farm anything yourself, yes, you can spend 1 million platinum pretty quickly, I'm sure. I'm just going through AUGs and best in slot items. But if you're going to just be playing normal, having a great time and still getting great gear, obviously, like I said, you can get most of the time gear for under 5K for like a full thing of it, except for you know, like a select few pieces like the Earth Embracer or something weird like that. So that's a huge plus for most players. You don't have to sit and completely grind to get that stuff. So we'll go ahead and leave it at this. But if you're, let's say you're a dad, you've got 2 kids now. Your gaming days are no longer staying up at night, you know, with high school the next day or whatever it may be. I know that when I first started playing EverQuest, I think I was in like 10th grade or something. And I remember getting in so much trouble staying up all night trying to get my first flowing black silk sash and all that kind of stuff, because I was on like 7th on the list and it took forever. Well, this is going to make it to where you have the ability to get on, accomplish a few different tasks, get right back off. You can solo all the content, but you can also group it if you want to. There is a tremendous amount of custom content. There is a tremendous amount of quality of life features. Like we're literally in one right now. The bazaar feature here, I think it's hashtag zone shard, will allow you to see. Yeah, there's 15 bazaars up right now, and look at all the different players. So many players right now, just absolutely blown away. 200, 199, 198, 195. I mean, you're not going to run out of players on here. This is more players than I've ever seen on a live server. Out of characters always pop in. Every once in a while, you'll get the guy that just absolutely doesn't want to put his items that he wants to sell in auction. As far as that is literally going to be the worst thing about the player chat here. I never really see it go too dark, I guess you'd want to call it. It's not going to get crazy political, all the different kinds of bashing, things like that. You're not going to have the pretty nasty rhetoric. You sometimes you get on these TLP servers because they don't enforce it anymore. They've got your monthly donation, or your monthly, subscription fee. Some of these people paying 6 or 7 of them to have different accounts they box. So they don't really enforce anything on there because they know that, you're the last bit of money they're getting. Here, they enforce stuff. You can't come in here and use, bad rhetoric. You can't come around doing crazy stuff. So that they do watch that. Discord's the same way. I mean, granted, we're all adults, so they're not going to get onto you for like saying a naughty word or whatever else it is, but you're not going to go be able to just berate someone with, vulgarity and things like that. But yeah, I absolutely love that as well. Player base is literally one of the things that is going to keep you on this server as well. Huge player base gives you that bustle feel that, you're back on live and everybody's wandering around East Commons trying to get the gear piece that they want. And even though we do have an active bazaar system here, you're still going to see the auction channel absolutely explode almost all the time with people selling everything from epics to just basic stuff like Spirit of Leopard, which is kind of crazy. I didn't know that would be going for so much. 15K, that's a lot. But you've got all kinds of different stuff here. So, but anyways, that is why I personally think that this server will ruin every other server for you. This is like the girlfriend that you're going to have that, that will ruin all other women for you. It really will. I have not even considered going back to try the new TLP, to, scratch the itch of getting on live just to see if I could figure out a little bit more of it this time. Really, like I haven't even had any desire to do that because of all of the awesome content that they have brought into what we're seeing here on the hero's journey. So I really hope to see you guys on here. If you haven't tried it yet, you have to. I mean, don't wait, get on here, try it. I feel like if you can give it 30 levels, you'll be hooked. In the beginning, it does seem like it's a lot because you've got the 3 different classes. You've got a lot of custom stuff like the echoes and things like that, the places you can port to. But you're going to find the support system you need if you ask questions, especially if you get on the Discord and ask questions. There's a whole area for new players to ask their questions if you want. Out of character is huge. After a update or a hot fix or a patch or whatever it may be, you'll see out of character blowing up with the people asking the exact same questions over and over again because they just didn't read the Discord. And you don't see it being met with meanness at all. You see it being met with people answering their questions. Like, look, this guy right here, somebody's asking a question. He said, just do /ex load model 99. That right there is just going to exit your game. So that's hilarious. That was done a long time ago. If that doesn't give you some nostalgia back to a classic troll, I don't know what's going to. But I mean, everybody for the most part's helpful. That guy, obviously, I think that we're all going to know at this point what it is. So it's just kind of funny. Hopefully that guy didn't actually exit out of his game. If he did, though, I mean, obviously he'll come back in. But yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys out in the game. Stop waiting and get on here and try it. If you have any inkling at all to play EverQuest, Even if you are playing a different game right now, if you're playing some other MMO of some sort and you're like, man, I don't really want to go back. EverQuest has the graphics of a potato or whatever it may be, you know, open up your smart fridge and start playing EverQuest, because it doesn't take much to run this thing. You can have a ton of fun. It's completely free. Any kind of donations you put into it are going to be all just nothing pay to win. You're not going to get any crazy items out of it. You might get like a bag or something like that. I think I got the bag on this guy. You might get a bigger bag or something, you know, nothing that's going to be game breaking. Or you might get like a skin for a weapon or some kind of crazy hat or something weird like that. So, really, really fun. And I am going to leave it at that. So again, the server that is going to ruin every other server for you. Look forward to seeing you guys out there. Have a great day, everybody.